Welcome to Battleground Live. This is the show where we kick ass and take names and lock horns with the radical left. It is debate night, the night that all of America has been waiting for. Donald Trump on that stage with cackling Kamala Harris, Comrade Kamala, in what would likely be one of her very first public media appearances of her presidential campaign. As crazy as that sounds, and it's live. Even the CNN interview that she did wasn't live. It was scripted, 18 minutes, a best of reel, and that was embarrassing as hell. How bad is it? Seriously, how bad is it that the first time she's going to be seen in an unscripted live format is the debate, which is likely it's going to be viewed by tens of millions of Americans. I got to believe that many of those Americans are going to base their vote on who performs well tonight, because always keep in mind that many people who are watching tonight are not going to be tethered to politics like you or like me. And to me, I can almost see, and of course I don't disagree, I'm sorry, I don't agree with this, but I can almost see the logic behind her saying, okay, I don't want to do any media in the first couple of weeks. You know, I was selected here, not elected. I got to get my feet wet. They hid me for the better part of 3 years of the Biden administration. Everybody thought I was a doofus and relatively incompetent. Late night television shows were making fun of me, saying that my approval rating was somehow lower than Dick Cheney's and he shot an old dude in the face with a shotgun. So I'm not going to go from reviled to loved overnight. So it's just going to take some time. I get that, right? So do you, maybe. I don't agree with it. If you're running for office, you should do interviews. But I can see, I kind of got it. But then 3 weeks went by. 4 weeks went by, and now here we are 50 plus days. I think her campaign's been going for 50 days, and she hasn't done one single live interview with the media, not been asked one single difficult question by the media at all. And now she's going to have to do it on a debate stage in front of tens of millions of Americans. And that brings me to this next point. It's all on the line for her. I'm going to get into more details on why the stakes are just so high for her. It's going to be so interesting to watch what happens tonight. So just put a bookmark in that. We'll come back to that in a second. And I also got to say, make sure you smash that like button, that little green thumb beneath the video. Smash that like button. We made the leaderboard last night because of you. Let's keep making it. I want to get a streak going here. You all are the best audience in the world. And I'm grateful to have you. So smash that like button, that little green thumb beneath the video. Go ahead and smash it. Look, some good news right off the top ropes here. Today, or actually yesterday, and I don't know how I missed this, but the DC Appellate Court vacated 1512C sentences, the convictions of 11 January 6 defendants, including Guy Reffitt, one of the very first January 6ers convicted at trial. So I got that information from Julie Kelly, who I just think has been absolutely phenomenal in her reporting. When the vast majority of the American media abandon January 6ers, not the vast majority, almost 99.9% of our media, even conservative media, abandoned January 6ers. Julie Kelly was there, volunteering her time, sitting through each and every trial, steadfastly reporting on the facts. And I think she's just done a phenomenal job. She's been a real bright spot in the lives of these January 6ers, no doubt in their families, giving their families hope. And believe me when I tell you, as somebody who has been on the receiving end of lawfare that damn near destroyed my family and hurt my family more than you could possibly imagine, it means a lot to have hope in those dark times. And Julie Kelly, and she wasn't the only one, but and many others gave these January 6ers hope. And it looks like, I wouldn't put anything past these bastards in black robes, these Democrat, judicial activists who masquerade as judges. It wouldn't put anything past these people. We always have to have our guard up. But the fact that we have 11 J6 defendants who had their convictions vacated today, that is a victory. That is a hard fought, hard won victory, and we should celebrate that and recognize that today. Also, before I really get into what's going on with the debate, I've got to highlight this video by Melania Trump because it's important on a lot of levels. And I saw some folks mentioning it in the live chat before I went live. It spoke to me. And I think the reason why some of you all are discussing it in the live chat is because it spoke to you as well. Melania Trump believes that the silence around the assassination attempt on her husband has been deafening. I don't want to put words in her mouth. I'll let her explain it for herself, and then I'll tell you why I think this is so important.
To end my husband's life was a horrible, distressing experience. Now, the silence around it feels heavy. I can't help but wonder, why didn't law enforcement officials arrest the shooter before the speech? There is definitely more to this story, and we need to uncover the truth.
Listen, I think that's very compelling and it's very telling. Here you have the wife of the 45th president of the United States coming out. Now, she's got a book coming out. I can't wait to read it because I just think Melania Trump, I think the world of her. I think she was an unbelievable first lady. I think that she never got the credit that she so deserved. I thought that she was elegant and her conduct in the White House was fit of the office, which she didn't really hold an office, but the office of the first lady, I should say. You know, she never really, I mentioned that she didn't get the credit she deserved. You didn't see her on a single magazine cover. You didn't see her, the media fawning over her fashion. Not that I'm some big, great fashion expert. I'm not. I will say Commander Melanie has thought some of her outfits have looked pretty cool. And again, I don't know how to speak about outfits. This is not what I do. All I'm saying is what I do know is that she never really got the credit she deserved and was unfairly targeted. And let's face it, she was a first lady once and is very likely going to be a first lady again. And she just released a video today that you would think would be blanketing the news coverage on every single channel, that she thinks that something is being hidden about the attempt on her husband's life. And that shouldn't surprise you. It certainly doesn't surprise me. I was there. I lived it. My wife was almost shot in the line of the bullets. Multiple people in Pennsylvania were shot. One tragically lost his life. I'm very, very upset about this. But she believes something is being hidden. Imagine the access to information that she, as a former first lady, has, especially with regards to proximity of her husband with President Trump. They know a lot of what's going on out there. They have a lot more information than I would think that you and I have. And they're out there saying that something is being hidden. And Eric Trump, her son, says something is being hidden about the attempt on President Trump's life in Pennsylvania as well. Because Eric Trump came out and said he'd like to get to the bottom of it too. How is it that we still know nothing? How is it that here we are on our way to 2 months later and we still know nothing? It's to the point where the wife of President Trump, Melania Trump, is filming a video saying, come on now, something is being hidden. Now, a member of the Secret Service was forced. I think he was a director of tactics. I don't want to get into. I don't want to name names because I've been trying to get smart on who this guy was. He was a higher up guy, director of tactics and protection. I don't know the exact title for Secret Service, but my point is, I've been reading a lot of whistleblower testimony, not testimony, but the words of whistleblowers spoken to someone, Susan Crabtree, who was saying that this guy that they're forcing into retirement was one of the good guys. This guy had nothing to do with Trump being denied the security, denied counter sniper, denied all of that. Those decisions were made far above his head. And this guy is being relieved and let go and forced into retirement because of the decisions of the people over him. And to me, this is concerning. I don't, the answer, here's the deal. I'm telling you what whistleblowers say because I do not trust our government at all. I do not trust former director of Secret Service Cheadle. I do not trust the acting director Rowe. I do not trust Christopher Wray. I do not trust the Department of Homeland Security. Screw our government right now. I don't trust any of them. So I'm taking the words of these whistleblowers to heart. People who are standing up and saying, wait a second, this is one of the good guys. But doesn't that make sense? Isn't that par for the course of how these commie, mouth-breathing, radical leftist Democrats operate? They would use the assassination attempt against President Trump to purge the Secret Service of even more good officers. Now, look, I'm speculating here, but what I do know is that's exactly how these Democrats operate. Look at what they did to the military during COVID. You're a patriot that questions the vaccine. You don't want to get the vaccine because it's experimental and they put you out of the military without pay, right? Or how about the story that Catherine Herridge did of the woman who got the vaccine because it was mandated in the military and now has horrible heart issues and complications from getting that vaccine. The Army, along with the Department of Defense, withheld her back pay for several years and denied her any insurance while her medical bills stacked up and stacked up and stacked up just to cover up the fact that they forced her to get a vaccine that hurt her. Well, because of Catherine Herridge's reporting, now she's gotten at least a year of back pay. But my point is this. Radical leftists use every crisis. They see every crisis as an opportunity to reshape the government and their image so that it can be weaponized more effectively the next time. And so I'm not sure the quality of person. I don't know. I don't have firsthand knowledge is what I'm saying of the guy that's being forced into retirement. All I do is trust the line members of the Secret Service who are saying he was one of the good ones. And it also makes sense. I also saw something else that stood out, an interview in a Philadelphia area bakery, which is, I think, in Delaware County. And this is relevant because it's, of course, debate night. The debate's happening in Philadelphia. This bakery is selling, in the lead up to the debate, Trump cookies and Harris cookies. And I thought it was interesting because this is in the Philadelphia suburbs, not exactly known as a deep red area. So can we get any information at all, any intel that we can glean from the information of the sale of these cookies? Who's selling more? What cookie is flying off the shelves? Well, deep blue area. This might surprise you, though.
You've sold thousands already, and I know you've baked thousands in preparation for tonight.
Yes.
Everyone wants to know, what do the sales maybe tell us about who might win the election in November?
Well,
talk to me about sales.
The sales, the red is leading by a lot.
By a lot.
By a lot.
You got the tally board over here.
The tally was just updated. You're new to see it, but almost by 4,000 cookies, as you can see, and that's tremendous. Tremendous for us as a small business to produce this and sell this as well, and see the faces that are coming around to buy these from all over.
Absolutely, and just to stress this, that is not a typo. Former President Trump with more than 4,000 cookies sold. Current Vice President Kamala Harris with only about 400. So the Harris voters got some work to do if they want to boost their numbers here. But again, we want to stress, we've been saying this all morning, you guys are not politically driven. I know you take a lot of flack online especially. Talk to me about your motivation here. You're just trying to do business.
I'm a small business, and prices are really high right now. Like we're seeing increases daily on eggs and butter, and so these help get people in the.
That is what this election's going to be about. In addition to just being a cool segment, get like people buying the Trump cookies, 4,000 plus sales of, let me see the exact numbers, 4,228 at the time of that interview of Trump cookies versus Kamala's 369. If there were fair elections in Philadelphia, that would probably be emblematic of the of the vote there. But I just thought it was compelling because here is this. We talk about these kind of people all the time. They're not tethered to politics. They don't really pay attention like we do. But now they're paying attention because prices are so high. I think that is what this election is going to come down to. So we're going to talk about the debate here in a second and give you my thoughts on the debate. But before we do that, let me tell you about a couple of our sponsors. Let me tell you about My Patriot Supply. You don't need me to tell you that life is precious, that it could all get taken away in an instant. And that's why I keep a 4-week emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply in my home. Let me see if I can actually show you what this looks like. The 4-week food kit. Let me see if I can get it up on the screen here. Yeah, have a look. This is the website right here. The My Patriot Supply website, right? This is what it looks like. This is the 4-week emergency food kit. Save $50 when you order today. But it's got everything my family could need during a crisis. With over 2,000 calories per day, there's enough to go around during times of social unrest, government crackdowns, or God forbid, an attack on our homeland. I mean, look, folks, in today's day and age, like, you got to be ready for anything. This food lasts up to 25 years. It's ready whenever disaster strikes. We've seen mass panic in our lifetimes before. Some were not that long ago. I'm not going to take my family's safety for granted anymore. Are you? I mean, 5 kids, that's a lot of mouths to feed. So that's a lot of My Patriot Supply that we're going to have to get to feed these crazy kids. But right now you can get $50 off the same 4-week emergency food kit that I keep in my home. Go to preparewithvnn.com. You can see the website. Right, wait. Let me do the weather person thing. Website is right here, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like a Barker girl. Price is Right girl, a Drew Carey girl. I know he's a different host. Nevertheless, go to preparewithvnn.com, save $50 on your 4-week emergency food kit, and My Patriot Supply will send it over as fast as humanly possible. Trust me, I know this because my order showed up in 1 day. So get your 4-week emergency food kit now at preparewithvnn.com. That's preparewithvnn.com. Check them out. Love the company. We're grateful for their support. Also, the Wellness Company. This is their medical emergency kit. You're probably looking at this and wondering, why doesn't it come in camo or at least black? If there's a survival situation or an attack on the homeland, it's going to be very hard to pull this situation out of your assault pack to treat what injuries that you might have here. But this is the Wellness Company emergency kit. All the medication that you see here was curtailed to me. They do this like little evaluation. You get to pick and choose the medication that you want. They do like an allergy check with actual real doctors. But, you've got ivermectin in here. I think there's hydroxychloroquine in here, all sorts of antibiotics, antivirals, antifungals, you name it, antiparasitics, you name it, they've got it. It's got a little instruction manual in this kit as well to help you administer and take the medication should you need it. And the point is that if things go fast, they tend to go fast really, really, really fast. So whether it's the medical emergency kit, the contagion kit, the first aid kit, or the travel kit, these prescription kits contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist you from the proper use of these medications to how you administer them and everything else. Pretty awesome stuff. From anthrax to tick bites, from COVID to the bird flu, from a trip to the beach to a trip overseas, the Wellness Company has a prescription kit designed to keep you and your family safe. Rest assured knowing that you have an emergency, you've got antibiotics, you've got antivirals, you've got antiparasitics on hand to keep you and your family safe. And you don't have to wait on anybody to prescribe them. You just got them. You keep them in storage. You save them for a rainy day. God forbid. And I hope that this never happens. Hope your family never needs this stuff, but it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So go to www.twc.health/battleground today in order. That's twc.health/battleground. Use the promo code battleground and you will save 10%. Okay, back to the debate. The stakes are really, really, really high for Kamala here. As I said in the lead-in, she still hasn't done an unscripted live television interview. There's a reason why people say that primaries are important. Having had my name on the ballot twice, just being completely honest, I hate primaries. I despise them. I think that when you run for political office and you're running in a primary, your opponents act like 8th grade girls or something like that. It's like running for office, even in the vastly important swing state of Pennsylvania. Running for office is like that movie Mean Girls. I swear to God, I absolutely despise running in primaries. Just in the interest of full disclosure, I don't like it, but because it's just annoying. I don't like being attacked by people that I don't know. If I'm being attacked, especially Republicans, right? Like, we're all supposed to be on the same team. I really, really, really don't like attacking other Republicans unless they're the worst of the worst establishment rhinos. Then I don't have a real problem with it. But generally speaking, I don't like, we're all on the same team here, right? Like, so I don't like that. I got no issues going after the radical commie mouth breathing left. I despise them. So I got no issues going after them. But my point is this: there are people out there, and I think I'm presenting you both sides here, my personal feelings on the matter, but also the other side here is that primaries are important because it gives you an opportunity to hone your craft. If you're running for office for the first time, or you're out there listening, or you're watching this show tonight and you're thinking, I've listened to what Sean says. I might try to run for county commissioner, or I might try to run for school board. Look, I might try to run for state rep, or hell, throw my hat in the ring for Congress or Senate one day. I don't know. My point is that you don't jump into politics and master the craft right off the bat. It takes time to hone your message. It takes time to get comfortable in your own skin, giving a stump speech. It takes time to walk into a television interview and not be nervous as hell, right? And if you get away from doing that, you get rusty. It's a perishable skill, I promise you. Having done it twice, I can tell you unequivocally that if you get away from it, it's very hard to get back into it. You get rusty. You got to shake the rust off. Trust me. Ran for Congress, did my first debate. I've had days like this. I've been in debate prep before. I know what it feels like to have the butterflies in your stomach. The first time that I met my opponent when I was running for Congress, and he was a real Poindexter, but the first time I ever met him was at the debate. And I remember being so nervous, because it's the unknown. It's something that I've never done before. And I remember walking into, Channel 11 News here in Western Pennsylvania. It was on a local affiliate. And by the way, the moderator, Catherine Armenta, I think she did a phenomenal job. What I looked for in selecting a moderator, by the way, like, we did not accept debate rules carte blanche. I just refuse to engage and play with the Dems on their terms. I just won't ever do it. But I don't give a damn if the moderator's a Democrat or Republican. I don't give a shit about that. Okay. I can hold my own in a debate. All I want is a commitment to be fair. That's it. I don't need anybody's charity. I don't need anybody tipping the scales in one direction trying to help me. I don't need it, okay? The Democrats do, because they're fake losers that can't articulate a position about anything. They can't even answer difficult questions. For God's sake, we got a woman running for president that hasn't done an unscripted television interview in over 50 days. So we had this amazing moderator for what was a 30-minute debate, but I'm telling you, I was so nervous. And she did, by the way, our moderator did a phenomenal job. I mean, she really was fair. I don't know her politics, but she really was fair. But I was nervous as hell, right? You go in there, and I'll give you a sense of what I mean. You go in there, and it's a television station. And I've done national TV before, but it's you're doing a remote interview. It's a little bit different. You see the podiums there. You see the cameras on you. Your opponent's standing right next to you. So my point is, it's nerve-wracking, to be sure. It's nerve-wracking. But the fact that Kamala hasn't, my point is this. It's a long way of me saying the fact that Kamala has not done a single damn interview the entire time running for president does not bode well for her. I'm not trying to set the bar low so that she can exceed all expectations. That's not what I'm trying to do here. But what I'm saying is it is a real thing. She hasn't debated in a very long time. She's not done an interview. She's not had to answer challenging questions. She hasn't even answered questions live on television. I mean, I'm telling you, this has all the makings of a disaster for her. Now, she's been preparing for 5 days, has a Trump impersonator helping her out, and I'm sure she'll have her polished lines tonight. In fact, I'm absolutely sure of it. And I am also sure that at some point we're going to get, Mr. President, I'm speaking. Even with the mics turned off, look, if I'm a betting man, and I've been known to place bets every now and again, I bet you she tries to squeeze that one in there somehow, even though the mics will be muted. But she's setting herself up for failure, hiding from the media. Because even if the debate moderator, and I talked to you all about this yesterday, the debate moderator is a far left loser. I mean, there's no doubt about it. She was just trying a couple of months ago to prepare to compare President Trump or tie President Trump to the KKK on a visit to Michigan. I mean, clearly she's in the tank for the Democrats. That much is clear. But you can bet Kamala is going to have to answer very difficult questions from Trump. And we've all seen Trump debate. And I went on Bongino's show today and we talked a little bit about this, his radio show, not his podcast, but his radio show. And, I said on the show, like, look, Trump doesn't need my advice. And the reason for that is, one, he doesn't. But two, the guy has won 3 Republican primaries now, defeated a Bush and a Clinton in the 16 cycle, wiped the floor with all Republicans and each of the last 2 primaries. I mean, the guy's actually a force to be reckoned with. But you've all seen Trump debate. He's going to go after Kamala. And Kamala is going to have to answer very difficult questions. I mean, and by the way, things aren't going very well for Kamala right now. She's slipping in the polls. To give you a sense of where she is right now, she's slipping in the polls right now. The poly market has Trump up 8. Again, my rule of thumb here. We campaign like we're 10 points down. We don't really trust the polls, but this stuff gives you an indication of where we are at this moment. And it sure as hell shapes media narratives. And Kamala Harris, I told you, this debate, not just this debate, but this election is about change. Let's discard the top line of the polls. Who gives a damn about the top line of the polls? You don't trust the polls, and rightfully so. But what we can trust are the issues that matter to the American people. And every single poll that I've seen for the last several months, and by the way, I have some access to insider polling as well, internal polling. The top issues are always the economy, inflation, immigration. When asked if the country is on the right track, almost 70% of Americans say no. Now that tells me and by the way, Trump is leading on all of those issues: economy, inflation, immigration. So even if you don't trust the top line numbers, the American people by and large prefer President Trump on those 3 issues. So if the top 3 issues that matter to Americans are issues that Trump is winning, that bodes very well for him on election day, because that's going to be what's driving people to pull that lever. And that brings me to the point of the change agent argument, which, by the way, everyone's making now. And we saw people talking about it last night after the show, saw people talking about it today, leading up to the show, because they're seeing the same polls that I'm seeing. 70% of America believes that America is on the wrong path, which means that they desire a change. And Kamala is really screwing herself over. Her people are not doing her any favors. Because yesterday we covered that Kamala finally had policies on her website for president after 50 days running. Well, there's only a slight problem, because people traced the source code of the policies that she posted on her website for president, and it's the same exact source code from the Biden campaign's website for president. She just cut and pasted. And so the American people already, and I believe, I've been on the record saying this, I believe that the American people are already starting to realize that Kamala is just more of the same. That's why her lead in many of these battleground states is dwindling. That's why her lead in the Electoral College is dwindling. I'm not saying the race isn't going to be close. It will, but she is certainly stalled out. Her momentum has stalled. So somehow, some way tonight, it's all on her shoulders. And she's going to have to shake the rust off, as I've explained, on that debate stage in front of millions of Americans. Not going to be an easy thing to do. She's going to have to convince Americans who haven't already made up their mind that she is going to be an agent of change when she literally just cut and pasted the policies and procedures or the policies off of Joe Biden's website for president. It's not a good place to be. And meanwhile, millions of American voters are talking about Trump just like this. These are folks from Wisconsin, but I guarantee you, Wisconsin and Pennsylvania are very, very, very similar in so many ways. If independents are thinking like this in Wisconsin, you can bet that they're thinking like it in Pennsylvania.
We've seen what Trump has done. We've had a good economy. We've had peace in the world. He's not going to back down. Is he lovable? No. Heck no, he's not. Do I like him? No. But do I think he's a better leader for us? Yes, I do. Somebody has to do it.
You echo all of that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely I do. Yeah. I think he'll bring the people together more.
We heard that a lot.
I sure like his views on how to run a country. I just don't like him as a person.
The Trump is not particularly likable, but the things were better under his administration. So why are you carrying the sign?
Why am I carrying the sign? Yeah. I want to pull my support for the United States. I do believe.
I'm telling you, I am telling you, in 2020, I know I was on the ballot, and I'm telling you also here, you're not going to hear this anywhere else. I'm on the ground in Pennsylvania. I'm talking to people who are knocking doors every day. I ran for Congress in 2020. There's something about Pennsylvania that just feels like it feels like we're in a very, very, very good spot. There are two critical places in Pennsylvania that you need to watch on election day. And the reason why this matters to you all, even if you're not on election day, even if you're not from Pennsylvania, is what I'm saying, is that everything banks, the entire election for Kamala is right here in Pennsylvania. Trump has multiple paths to 270 in the Electoral College without Pennsylvania. Now, does he want to win it? Of course. Is he going all in on winning it? Of course. Because if he takes these 19 electoral votes from Pennsylvania and he takes them away from Kamala, she has no path. Trump wins Pennsylvania, has got a 96% chance of being back in that White House. So for Kamala, everything comes back to Pennsylvania. It's why she spent the last 5 days in Pittsburgh in Western Pennsylvania debate prepping while also simultaneously shoring up support here. It's all about Pennsylvania. This debate is in Philadelphia. It's all about Pennsylvania. Not that other swing states aren't important. They are. But for Kamala, Pennsylvania is the ball game for her. But things just don't feel right for her right now. And specifically, two counties that you need to watch on election night, Erie County, and you need to watch Northampton. These are swing counties. Whoever wins these tends to win the state. And I cannot imagine a single Democrat. And I mean, look, outside of the hardest left people in Erie, working class Democrats, union Democrats, men in those areas, I can't envision a single Democrat voting for Kamala Harris, especially when you look at her policies as it pertains to fracking. In Pennsylvania, there are 600,000 jobs in Pennsylvania tied to the oil and gas industry here. Not just fracking, but the oil and gas industry. Upstream jobs, downstream jobs, manufacturing that's affiliated with it, trucking that ships the gas or the natural gas from point A to point B, pipeline workers, you name it. Like 600,000 jobs. Each one of those people is a little microeconomy in and of themselves. They spend money in the local community. They send their kids to school in the local community. They pay taxes in the local community. They grocery shop. They buy cars from little dealerships there. Like every single one of these people boost up their local community. And Kamala wants to crush them. What do you think that will do for the state of Pennsylvania? People aren't buying that. I'm telling you, people are over it. And so if you're Trump tonight, your mission is to expose her as the brazen, ridiculous hypocrite that she is, but be the agent of change, which he knows how to do. I am not. I don't want any of you thinking for a second that I'm sitting here giving that guy advice. But if I were involved in his debate prep, and he asked me my opinion, this is what I would tell him. Trump is great at being an outsider. So I'm not worried that he has the ability to do this. He does it all the time. The guy sat in the Oval Office for 4 years as president, and somehow he's an outsider again this cycle, right? So he is great at doing this. But he's got to be that agent of change. He's got to communicate with the American people that he understands and feels their pain, and he has a plan to fix it. And remember, just 3 years ago, when life was a hell of a lot easier, who was president? Oh, yeah, me. While simultaneously exposing Kamala's ridiculous flip-flopping. And the left excusing this stuff away is just laughable, by the way. Well, she was in a primary back then. Well, do you have a soul? Do you have a core set of beliefs that actually matter to people? Like I'm a pro-Constitution guy. I'm a pro-Second Amendment guy, fervently. I don't give a damn if I'm running in a primary or not. That ain't going to change. I'm a pro-life guy. I'm running in a primary. That ain't going to change. I'm a pro-oil and gas guy. Guess what? I'm an energy independence guy. Guess what? If I'm running in a primary, that ain't going to change. But these Democrat pundits and the fake news, they're out there. Oh, well, she was running in a primary. It's different. Well, she's different now. Are you effing kidding me? You know, this is why I always say you cannot trust what these commie, mouth-breathing Democrats say. You have to watch how they vote. You have to watch what they do, which is why it is relevant that Kamala was in Pennsylvania for 5 straight days preparing for this debate. Her internal polls are not good here. That's why she's spending so much time here. And as I mentioned before, she is on the ropes. Independents and polls, even now after Kamala's entrance into this race, independents are largely breaking Trump this cycle. And I think Gen Z is as well, because they're being priced out of the American dream. Listen.
Hi, everyone. So hopping on here and wanted to say that I am 110% not a Russian bot. I'm actually Dutch. All opinions are my own. I hate what's happening in our country, and there needs to be a change happening in November. People my age, we really need to be standing up for America and fighting for what we believe in. Kamala Harris is not it. She's a shill, she's a puppet, and she has no opinions or ideas of her own. She's done nothing for this country the last 4 years, and I love how she's pretending like she's gonna fix every problem that she helped cause the last 4 years. So not voting for her, we'll be voting for Trump. Anyways, just want to say that. Have a great day, and Trump 2024.
And look, CNN absolutely annihilated Kamala. Yes, CNN last night. Do you want to know why I think the media is turning on her? Well, just hang on. I'll tell you that in a second. Let me tell you very quickly about Genesis Gold. Stay right there. I've got a lot more to talk about. Genesis Gold Group. So grateful to have their sponsorship on the show, with so many options available for Americans to protect their retirement or wealth with physical precious metals. It's hard to know who to trust. And I get it. You see gold and silver being advertised everywhere. Our partners at Genesis Gold Group are a faith-driven gold and silver company that is unabashedly America first. They don't try to hook people with free silver that isn't really free. Instead, they treat their customers with respect and help guide them to securing their retirement. So visit rumblegold.com today. Get their free definitive gold guide. That's rumblegold.com. Also, folks, I get, not understanding the gold and silver stuff, the precious metal stuff. Commander Melanie and I were in the exact same place. We thought to ourselves, like, how the hell does this even work? Like, what do you do? Do you keep the gold? Do you put it in a safe somewhere? Like, how does it work? If you've got questions, just go to rumblegold.com and they'll answer them. They're not going to pressure sale you. But if you've invested in a retirement your whole life and you've looked at the devaluation of the dollar over the course of your life, well, it might be smart. I'm not an investment guy, but it might be smart to hedge that, some of your paper money and your investments with gold and silver that has largely retained its value and gained in value over time. I mean, the all-time high for gold just happened a couple of weeks ago. So might just be something to consider. Also, let me tell you about Red Beach Nation. Red Beach Nation is an amazing conservative company that it's an apparel company. It's a beachwear company for freedom-loving Americans. So whether you live at the beach, you're heading to one, you're just imagining yourself at one, Red Beach is comfy, patriotic apparel, sure to lift your spirits. I love this company a lot because it was founded by a former counterterrorism officer, war veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan. This is somebody who, again, is unabashedly America first, loves this country. Red Beach Nation is 100% committed to upholding the American values and principles that we all hold so dear. Just pure Americana, folks. Just spangly red, white, and blue. Their apparel is really awesome. I've actually heard from people who have gone to their website, bought some of their stuff. Really, really good stuff, high quality stuff. So come live the sand, the surf, and the freedom lifestyle with us. Head on over to redbeachnation.com. Use your promo code Sean, SEAN. I got you 10% off your order. Again, that's redbeachnation.com. Use the promo code Sean to save 10% off of your order. Okay. The media is turning on Kamala Harris, and they're turning on her because she's not sitting down and doing any interviews. So CNN last night absolutely demolished Kamala Harris. There was a soundbite of Bernie Sanders a couple of days ago that I thought was real bad for Kamala Harris. Somehow this is just devastating. This is just somehow worse than that. Watch this.
Tonight, Kamala Harris releasing details of her policy positions for the first time on her campaign website. A K-file investigation has uncovered, meantime, a 2019 questionnaire. And in this questionnaire, Harris laid out some much more liberal stances, among them on immigration. So in 2019, in what K-file found, she said she would cut funding to ICE, writing, quote, "Our immigrant detention system is out of control, and I believe we must end the unfair incarceration of thousands of individuals, families, and children. I was one of the first senators after President Trump was elected to advocate for a decrease in funding to ICE." Well, now, of course, she's touting the Biden administration's executive order to crack down on the border. K-File's Andrew Kaczynski joins me now. Andrew, that's pretty incredible on its own when you're talking about what you found here on ICE. What else did you find?
Yeah, and this was a questionnaire that she filled out for the ACLU, and this questionnaire is really an interesting snapshot in time of that 2019 Democratic primary. Kamala Harris was trying to get to the left of Bernie Sanders. She was trying to get to the left of Elizabeth Warren, and you really see that in a lot of these answers. And I want to walk our viewers through a little bit of what she said. Let's just take immigration and look at what she said here. She said on immigration, she made this open-ended pledge to end immigrant detention. She said she supported taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She also said she supported
taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She actually said she supported that.
She wrote
listen to that.
Answered in the affirmative when she was asked this. Oh. And she said she also supported it for federal prisoners. Now, she also pledged to slash immigration detention by 50%, close all family and private facilities, and decrease funding for ICE, and then the end ICE detainers with local law enforcement.
I mean, these are things that, you know, it would be hard to think that you would come up with taxpayer funding gender transitions for detained migrants, and yet this, as you say, written and verbally. You know, what else, you know, did you find?
Well, let's take a look at her answer here on drugs. She got asked about, you know, the question from the ACLU was, since drug use is better addressed as a public health issue through treatment and other programming, will you support the decriminalization at the federal level of all drug possession for personal use? And Harris answers yes. Now, what would that mean? Well, it mean the federal all drug possession. That's not just marijuana, which she alluded to in her answer to this question, but it also would mean
it's federal level of all drug possession,
fentanyl, crack,
use.
You know, cocaine, things like that. Yeah.
Have they responded to you on her changes on these issues?
So we did put this question to the Harris campaign about the entire ACLU questionnaire, and the Harris campaign didn't answer any questions from CNN. Instead, they just provided a statement from an unnamed Harris campaign advisor that just said, the vice president's positions have been shaped by 3 years of effective governance as part of the Biden-Harris administration. Now, they declined to CNN to elaborate on what those positions were. And then they also provided this statement, which they attributed to a spokesperson saying, as president, she will take that same pragmatic approach, focusing on common sense solutions for the sake of progress. So where does she stand on this, all this questionnaire today? We don't know, and they won't say.
It's pretty incredible stuff. And thank you very much, Andrew K-File, for this reporting.
Taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for illegal aliens. Erin Burnett from CNN was like, what? She's like, this is actually just hard to come up with stuff like this that you would want. I mean, it's so unbelievably radical that even CNN is calling you out. I'm telling you. Or how about, decriminalizing fentanyl and crack cocaine and all these other drugs? I mean, it's absolutely crazy. I'm telling you, that is going to hurt Kamala Harris. It just is. And I think that Democrats, specifically Democrat candidates in 2028, are starting to see the writing on the wall. I think I've told you many times before that I think if the Democrats win and Kamala Harris is in the White House, hey, that's great. We got Kamala Harris in the White House, whatever. Obviously, they're not going to be upset about that. But if they lose, I honestly believe Democrats don't care. They can discard Kamala. She's not well liked. It'll give access to Newsom, to Whitmer, to Shapiro, people the kingmakers in the Democrat Party believe have far more potential than Kamala Harris. Gives way to them, right? Gives them the ability to show up in 2028, arriving on the scene like a conquering hero, saving America from Trump. And I think that these people, Newsom, Whitmer, Shapiro, I think they're starting to realize it. And I think they're starting to plant the seeds for a Kamala Harris defeat. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying they are definitely hedging their bets. Shapiro just gave an interview here on local TV. Actually, he also did on MSNBC, talking about how Pennsylvania is just so difficult. It's very, very tough to win. You got to work really hard. It's very tough. That doesn't sound like the Shapiro in 2020 who said, oh, if you count all the votes, Trump is going to lose. It doesn't sound like the same guy. Also, Newsom out there today distancing himself from Kamala Harris as well, criticizing her lack of engagement with the media. Listen to this.
We've been hearing that she's going to do more interviews for a long time now.
That's up to the campaign. Yeah. And you know what? I mean, I'm not here to advise in that respect. I think absolutely she should do that, but that's up to her.
How about CNBC going after Chris Coons, who's the co-chair of Kamala's campaign committee?
When I asked her whether there was any explanation for how difficult it's been, I don't know how many extemporaneous press briefings former President Trump has had in the last 40 or 45 days, but it's dozens. And we're exactly at zero still for Vice President Harris. And I asked her and she said, well, she's been really busy. But we've seen some crazy stuff in retail outlets and, some funny moments and things. We've seen plenty of stuff, but not that. As vice chair or co-chair, of the Harris campaign, were you involved in that decision to basically keep her away from speaking extemporaneously? Senator, what was the thinking there?
As you can well imagine, I'm not her daily scheduler. But I served with her in the Senate. I've worked with her as vice president. I know her to be smart and capable and focused.
Why do it then? Do you have an explanation for why she's been kept under wraps like that? Because it just raises people's suspicions and people really wonder what's the problem.
Look, what I find concerning is that when Donald Trump gives those completely unscripted, long, rambling interviews, the things he talks about are unhinged.
and so I'm just saying, things aren't exactly great for Kamala Harris, and she's walking onto that debate stage, didn't give a single live interview. I'm also Bob Casey, Democrat senator running for Pennsylvania, running for the Pennsylvania Senate seat. He's been in an office for 18 years. He's also trying to distance himself a little bit from Kamala Harris. People see the writing on the wall. Again, it's going to be a close race. I'm not trying to give you false hope, campaign like we're 10 points down, but I'm highlighting to you that things ain't going real well for Kamala Harris. And then this video from 10 years ago, longer than that, from 1995, about Willie Brown in San Francisco. Just watch this.
He's a rogue, all right, notorious for his flamboyant lifestyle. Flashy clothes, fancy parties, fine women,
Are you his daughter? No, I'm not.
And fast cars.
Are you his daughter? No, I'm not. Wait, let's look. Who's that right there? Who's that right there? Oh, wait, let's listen to that again. Are you his daughter? No, I'm not.
Are you his daughter? No, I'm not.
And fast cars.
You should from now on address me as...
I'm telling you, none of this. Like, there are definitely more effective ways to attack Kamala Harris. I get it. But at the time, he was married. She was hooking up with him. Are you his daughter? People thought she was his daughter. That, I mean, oh my God. Things are not great for cackling Kamala Harris. Okay, so I've got to talk to you about this stuff, this Haitian stuff. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that the migrant thing, right? I don't like using that word because that's the left words. But in this case, because they were granted legal status or temporary asylum, I guess it's accurate to say that they're Haitian migrants. Something is happening right now. This is why I'm coming back to this real quick, because I want to follow up on this story for you. But something is happening right now. And before I get into it, make sure you smash that like button, that little green thumb beneath the video. Go ahead and smash that like button. The media is trying to deny that this ever happened. They're trying to make it seem like this is a hoax. I'm telling you, folks, this is not a hoax. I've actually heard from people who have loved ones in Springfield. This is actually these Haitian migrants are killing ducks in ponds and local parks and geese. They are catching and killing pets and eating them. I mean, J.D. Vance, a buddy of mine, senator from Ohio, running for vice president, his office is overwhelmed with people from Springfield, Ohio, saying that this is happening. This is not a hoax, but this is what the media does. They see this as an issue, right? This pet stuff, these Haitians in Springfield, they see this as an issue that would be detrimental to Kamala Harris, right? Oh, she's running for president. We got to go out of our way to protect her. And so what they're doing is what they do with everything else. They just say it's a hoax. But the way that they're covering it, the New York Times, for example, did a piece yesterday saying that migrants enrich our communities. I'm telling you, it ain't going to work. And the great tragedy about all of this is that we've got in Colorado, Venezuelan gangs taking over entire apartment buildings. You have Kamala Harris in writing saying that she wants to legalize fentanyl. Fentanyl is the number one killer of people in this country between 18 and 35. You know, hundreds of Americans every single day are dying from fentanyl poisoning. We have at the border hundreds of thousands of children completely disappeared into thin air, sold into some horrifying form of slavery or worse yet, somehow sex slavery. All the while, American citizens are being left behind. All the while, we have, kids being attacked, raped, murdered, women as well, at the hands of illegal aliens who should have never come to this country in the first place. But it was a story about, Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, eating pets that finally caused the media to really cover what is now becoming a viral story. And I want you to understand, if you don't already, why this is actually happening. Okay? Why are towns, and it's not just Springfield, Ohio, it's small towns like this all over America, are being inundated with these temporary asylum protected refugees. And of course, I use the term loosely. They're being inundated. I mean, the town of 50,000 in Springfield was inundated with 20,000 Haitian migrants. It's absolutely crushing the town. But Springfield, Ohio is a very, very, very ardent Trump supporting area. And what the Democrats want is they want to force the hellscape of their dystopian vision of America on Trump supporters. They want Trump supporters to live with the consequences of their terrible policies. Look at people like Eric Adams from New York City. Illegal aliens are crushing what was a once great city. He's complaining, even though it was his own sanctuary city policies that led to to it happening, he wants to bus them to more conservative areas. None of these Democrats want to live with the consequences of their horrible policies. But believe me when I tell you, the Biden administration is in the Department of Homeland Security under Mayorkas is looking at Republican areas on a map and consciously sending these people there to force Trump supporters to live with the consequences of these horrible policies. And two, they want to dilute the vote. They want to replace Americans and dilute the vote of these Trump supporters. Ultimately, the plan is to get these people to vote in our elections. And make no mistake about it, illegal aliens are voting in our elections. 10 years ago, NBC covered it. Listen to this.
It could be very serious. It could change the whole complexion of an election.
2 election supervisors take action tonight after an NBC2 investigation uncovers flawed record keeping and human error, allowing people who are not citizens of the United States to vote.
NBC2 investigator Andy Parati has been working on this story now for more than 2 months.
He joins us live from the Lee County Election Center. Andy?
Well, Lindsay, we don't know how widespread this problem is because elections offices don't keep track of where non-citizens live. So we decided to do something that they never tried to do before, and we found them on our own. Have you voted before?
Right. I vote every year.
Hanako Danette is not a U.S. citizen, yet the Cape Coral resident is registered to vote. Do you know that you're not supposed to vote if you're not a U.S. citizen? NBC2 found Danette after reviewing her jury excusal form. She told the clerk of court she couldn't serve because she wasn't a U.S. citizen. But we found her name and nearly 100 others like her in the database of Florida registered voters. You have no idea why you're registered to vote.
I have no idea. I mean, how am I supposed to know? Go driver's license facilities or anything. I don't know.
This Naples woman didn't want to show her face. While she doesn't know how she was registered, she does know how to vote. Records show she voted 6 times in elections dating back 11 years.
I know you cannot vote before you become a citizen, so I never tried to do anything like that.
Samuel Lincoln is not a U.S. citizen either. The Jamaican national says he doesn't know how he ended up registered to vote. So this is all a big mistake.
So that's their mistake, that's not mine.
But we obtained a copy of his 2007 voter registration application. It's clearly marked U.S. citizen.
And that is under oath, that document. They're attesting that it is in fact true. And by falsifying it, it's a 3rd-degree felony.
County supervisors of elections tell me they have no way to verify citizenship. Under the 1992 motor voter law, they're not required to ask for proof.
We have no policing authority. We don't have any way of bouncing that information off of any other database that would give us that information.
Does that need to change?
I think it needs to be looked at.
Until that happens, the only way supervisors of elections can investigate voter fraud is if they get a tip.
It looks like these individuals lied on your documents.
So that's what our list became. After showing them nearly 100 names we compiled, both elections offices sent letters to each voter asking them to verify citizenship.
It could be very serious. It could change the whole complexion of an election.
It's important to note that we don't know whether they were here legally or not, only that they're not U.S. citizens. It takes 30 days. They have 30 days to respond to those letters to verify their citizenship. If they don't, they'll be taken off the voter rolls. Back to you.
Andy, quick question for you. We know in Florida all too well that it can only take one vote and that can make a difference. But are the supervisors changing their policies to make sure that the people who are not allowed to vote, that they don't vote?
Based on our investigation, both elections offices plan to request jury excusal forms from clerk of courts every single time they get one that says not U.S. citizen. They'll basically do what we did. They'll take those names and they'll compare those names with.
See, 10 years ago, this was being reported on, but it's not today. And isn't it interesting that everyone likes to act, or the Democrats and their allies in the media try to act like this is some sort of big hoax, all while we're in the middle of one of the most serious illegal immigration crises in this nation's history. Did you see also where they said exactly what I've been telling you forever, that the only check and balance against this is a block that says U.S. citizen, yes or no. And after that, these voters disappear into the ether. And I'm also going to say a message to every Republican. I cannot stress this enough. The only way you stop voter fraud is on the front end. Where is the lawsuit in, say, Pennsylvania that forces the state to answer the question, are illegal aliens registered to vote in this state? Republicans are always behind the power curve on these lawsuits. And yeah, they'll file one after an election is stolen, but by then it's too late because we have cowardly judges in this country that will not do a damn thing about it. Okay. Got to show you this Eric Swalwell video and him responding to Republican cat memes because it's just amazing. But let me tell you about Sweetie Bean real quick. Sweetie Bean's amazing. If you're not taking it, you definitely should. Sweetie Bean is composed mainly of an amino acid glycine, and that's the nutrient our immune system uses to regulate inflammation. So if you are suffering from chronic pain, Sweetie Bean is for you. Most of the diseases that make us sick and die these days are rooted in chronic inflammation, mainly due to a glycine deficiency. The aches and pains that we feel as we get older, due to chronic inflammation. Glycine helps with this as well. There's a reason why people are all in on this bone broth trend. It's because bone broth contains glycine. So if you don't want to take bone broth every day, take Sweetie Bean. It works better than bone broth. But once daily serving of Sweetie Bean provides 8 grams of glycine, and that's enough to stop all excess inflammation right where it starts. With once daily Sweetie Bean, most people feel the reduction in pain after just a few days. Sweetie Bean is great for recovery after workouts. A 12-day challenge trial pack of Sweetie Bean is only $19.95 with free shipping, and it's sold completely risk-free. So if you don't like it, you don't like the taste, you think it's not working, they will give you your money back, and I don't think they won't even make you ship the Sweetie Bean back. But use Sweetie Bean just like sugar. So it comes in these little packets. You put it in your favorite beverage. I put mine in lemonade. I don't even realize I'm drinking it. Put it in a smoothie. Put it in a protein shake after the gym. Sprinkle it on your cereal. Take it any way you like. All natural Sweetie Bean contains no sugar or carbs, has only 24 calories. It's perfectly safe for diabetics. Get Sweetie Bean online at sweetybean.com. That's SWEETAMINE.com, or call 855-GET-SWEET. That's 855-438-7933. Sweetybean.com, 855-GET-SWEET, or 855-438-7933. Don't forget to use the promo code Sean, SEAN, and you get a $5 discount. Okay, folks. So conservatives have been doing everything they can to support the residents of Springfield. And part of the reason why this situation has gone viral is that conservatives are very creatively using AI to create duck and kitten memes of Donald Trump holding a duck or holding a kitten, saying that Donald Trump will be the savior of ducks and kittens. So my point is, Eric Swalwell in a committee meeting today had a complete meltdown. So we'll go out, like prior to the debate, we'll go out on a positive note on the fact that Eric Swalwell, a dude that banged a Chinese spy, is a complete histrionic loser. Watch this.
What in the hell is this? The chairman tweets, protect our ducks and kittens in Ohio because he goes down some crazy rabbit hole, completely debunked that aliens are eating pets? My God, are you okay, Mr. Chairman? Because last year, for a very long time, you tweeted and promoted Kanye West as he was calling for genocide against the Jews, and you kept it up. And now, when we have victims coming here, you're tweeting this nonsense. I don't know why you would do this. I hope you're okay. I don't know if the aliens who are eating your ducks are in the room with us right now, but Mr. Chairman, this is a serious issue. These people have loved ones.
What an intergalactic level loser. I swear to God, what an oxygen thief that guy is. Anyways, folks, this debate, watch it tonight. It's going to be historic. Tomorrow's Savage Wednesday. We're going to have Rich Barris on. We're going to break down the whole debate, probably talk some smack on Kamala Harris and other Democrats while we're at it. Make sure you smash that like button. I mean, we're almost hitting 400 likes at the end of every show, which is kind of amazing. Smash that like button, that little green thumb beneath the video. Tell your family and your friends to subscribe to Battleground Live. Also, I want you to check out a website, rvmnews.com. rvmnews.com. It is a great website for conservative news. I mean, they've got sports on there too, but it's a conservative news, politics, culture, everything website. It's really sleek. Check it out, rvmnews.com. I get a lot of my stories here on the show from that website, so go check it out for yourself. Awesome organization, rvmnews.com. Tell your family and friends to subscribe to Battleground Live. As always, folks, enjoy the debate tonight. Keep the faith. The best is yet to come. God bless you all. And God bless this amazing country that we call home. Take care. Good night. And I will see you tomorrow. Have fun watching the debate.